Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
We've got quite the boomerang effect here. We have an Asian voice actor slash YouTuber who is upset that he's being stereotyped as only being able to play Asian roles.
But isn't that what they wanted?
That is what people wanted. Yes, that's what they claimed they wanted. They said that we need to get a lot of white people playing non-white characters out of the industry, out of the business, and make sure that everybody stays in their own lane. But shocker, that means you can only stay in your own lane.
Yeah, see, what they were thinking was going to happen was that people that aren't white could play all the characters, but people that are white only could play white characters, and it doesn't work that way.
So we're gonna talk about this. We're gonna talk about this. This is the problem. This is the problem when you say that you have to stay in your lane, is that your lane might be very narrow.
If only somebody pointed this out, like back then, and said this was a bad idea because, traditionally speaking, a lot of voice actors are not white, and they play white characters, and it's fine. If only people had mentioned that, this would never have happened. Oh, wait, we all did.
Yes, we did, and here we are. So let's talk about this. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. You get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
Go out to shopclownfish.com, back Shadowbinders Volume 3.
Oh, we're almost halfway.
Yeah, we are. So we're looking for pre-orders for Shadowbinders Volume 3, which comes out next year. It's the first new Shadowbinders comic material from Clownfish Studios in, my God, almost 10 years.
And I think eventually we are going to do it on Kickstarter too.
I think we will eventually,
But I think at that point we'll pretty much have it, like what we need for shipping and printing, and then we'll put it on there. Because I think a lot of people, feel more comfortable doing it that way too, which is fine. Even though this way you're allowed to make payments and stuff.
Yeah, we're done with Indiegogo.
Yeah, Indiegogo's out of the equation, but the other places maybe. Okay.
All right, so let's talk about this because we've got to go back to 2020. Back in 2020, all these studios were tripping over themselves, throwing voice actors, predominantly white voice actors, overboard to be more politically correct.
And if you go back on our videos, you can find this stuff from 2020.
Right, and they're saying that white actors were leaving their non-white roles. No, they were being pushed out. Some of them left voluntarily.
It was 3 years ago already. It just seems like it was just like not that long ago.
No, it's all one big year. It's been one big year since 2020.
It really has. I'm like, wait, that's been 3 years ago? I'm like, what?
So,
wow.
So yes, during the Summer of Love, a lot of studios, predominantly Disney and a couple others, but they were tossing their voice actors overboard because it wasn't in vogue to have white people doing non-white roles. Now, the beautiful thing about voice acting is that it's supposed to be colorblind. You're supposed to be able to play whatever character. I mean, characters that you don't look anything like. If you've got the right voice for it and you are that character, then you should get the role.
Right.
In fact, this has been the way it's been for a very long time. This is Rainbow Bright. Mm-hmm. This is who played Rainbow Bright back in the 80s. It was a little brown-skinned girl, was blonde hair, blue-eyed, Rainbow Bright.
I think it's cute that she was going to an 80s dance and she was dressed that way. I think that's adorable. Anyway.
It would be kind of funny. That's what they were a kid.
Most people wouldn't even know. Like, you know what I mean? Unless they knew her personally, they wouldn't even catch on.
No. And that was the thing. Like, we had no idea. We were kids. Cree Summer was Penny Gadget. And lots of other characters, lots of other classic animated characters. And it didn't matter. Phil LaMarr was Samurai Jack. Mm-hmm. And it didn't matter.
No, it didn't, because it was like, basically, they even had voice or casting directors that would be like, they would listen to people do the reading. They wouldn't even look at them because they didn't want to be influenced by how they looked. They just wanted to hear the voice.
Right.
And that used to be how it was. And now you have to actually identify it in every way the character does, or you can't play that character.
And this was mostly brought about by, as I recall, the Apu documentary, The Problem with Apu or whatever. That. And there are some voice actors that legitimately step down from their roles.
That was their choice.
That was their choice. If they feel convicted and they're like, you know what, I should be giving this role up for, to somebody else that looks more like this character, whatever, that's fantastic. Now, what people thought was going to happen, was like, oh, cool. Okay, so these white folks are stepping down, which means that, we can play whatever role we want to play now, right? No. No, now just the white people play the white people, and the Asian people play the Asian
Right.
people, and the black people play the black people. You better actually be gay if you're going to play a gay
I
character.
haven't done that so far yet that I know of. But
Well, they're doing it in television
they
now.
don't. They are.
You know,
So, which is funny because a couple gay actors have come out, like Neil Patrick Harris and Nathan
Ian McKellen.
Yeah,
McKellen
I think
did.
Nathan Lane did too, didn't he? Coming out and saying that that's
There's a joke in there.
yeah, I know, right? That they thought it was absolute crap.
Yes,
That you
yes.
know. Because they've all played straight people, they played gay people, they played whatever, and they think it's ridiculous that people are being limited by that. But yeah, this is what was going to happen, and it's funny because all the people that were screaming about wanting it to be white people should be out are now mad that they only could play characters that look like them, which I was more limiting, but they did it to themselves. And I've always said, and you've always said, if you're right for the part, it shouldn't matter what you look like. And I don't think people should be like this. This voice actor should be typecast based on what they look like.
Well, just side note, not to pimp Shadowbinders again, but we actually at one point in time were looking at voice actors for a short animated version of Shadowbinders. And the best actor for Crimson Wren turned out to be a black guy.
His voice was spot on.
It was spot on. And again, it was color blind. It
was just my voice. I didn't care what you look like. I just wanted to hear your voice.
We're listening to the clips and we're like, that's it. That's Wren. And then we saw the guy and we're like, wow, that's not what we expected, but it doesn't matter.
He was just like what we thought.
Because you're playing Crimson Wren. You're not playing yourself. But again, Hollywood current year, you have to always play yourself, right? We can't act anymore.
I forgot all about that, but yes.
Yeah, no, I thought that was kind of wild because I'm like, I would have hired him in a heartbeat, if we had gone forward with it. Anyway, this is Niche Gamer has this up. Voice actor Sungwon Cho, better known as ProZD, recently posted about how they were only presented the opportunity to read for an Asian character in a recent audition. Cho allegedly was auditioning for an upcoming show and was offered only one character to read for. It was the only Asian character in the cast. He asked his manager about the other characters and was told those characters are drawn as white, so no. You gotta stay in your lane.
But it's funny because that's what they said they wanted until it limits them. And then they're like, well, that's not fair. And it's like, well, none of it was. It was never a good idea. I didn't care what you look like. If you're perfect for it, you should always been allowed to play it. But
Yes.
you didn't want that, did you?
So here are the tweets. I got an audition for Prominent Cartoon where I was just sent the Asian character. Looking through the rest, I told my agent, hey, I'm happy to read for this, but can I read for some of these others? To which I was told all those characters are drawn white, so no. To add extra insult to injury, the character I got sent was labeled Middle Eastern, Southeast, or Southeast Asian because that's all the same, right?
Right.
You could just lump them into one. My agent told me this is just how some major studios are doing things now.
Yeah, because there's a bunch of voice actors had meltdowns, and all these people on Twitter had meltdowns.
Yes. And he went on and said, naysayers will go, oh, don't you want authentic casting? If your entire main cast is all white and you have one token side character who can apparently just be any type of Asian ever, this is not a level playing field.
No.
This is not new. For another show recently with a large cast of characters, I was only sent the audition sides for the character who exclusively speaks Mandarin and I don't speak Mandarin. Well, why not? You're Asian.
You're Asian.
You should be good at math and know Kung Fu too, right?
This is like, when we saw with Snake Eyes, it was always a blonde haired, blue eyed guy, but because he knows martial arts, has to be an Asian dude, right?
So, my brothers, my half brothers, right? They're, I said before, my stepdad's, his family's from Mexico. We never spoke much Spanish in the house. So I don't think they speak, I think I speak more Spanish than they do. I don't think they speak Spanish at all. I don't know. Think they do, just because you're Latino doesn't mean you speak Spanish if you're born in the US. I'm just saying there's so much nuance to this situation, right? So anyway, it's all the same. Anyway, he said it's demoralizing, and as much as I love voiceover, the future looks bleaker every day. Again, this is what I don't know if he did specifically, but this is what your peers advocated for. It was everybody has to stay in their own lanes.
And I want to be clear again. We said from the beginning we thought that was crap and a bad idea and that shouldn't happen. Everybody should be allowed to audition for whatever.
Absolutely.
Do you see this here? To be clear, this was not my agent's decision. They have sent me plenty of white characters before and have been nothing but supportive. This is what they were told by the people in charge of casting for that show. So your diversity and inclusion, your DEI check boxes and all that, you're trying so hard to be diverse and inclusive that you're ending up being exclusive over it.
Yeah, I don't agree with this. I think, again, one of the beautiful things about voice acting is that you can be anyone. You are not limited by physical appearance.
Girls play boys all the time.
Yeah, you're not even limited by gender. You literally can be any character. You can be anyone because it's a cartoon character. It's not you, as long as your voice is right for the part. You know, like I said, the best person for Crimson Run out of the bunch we looked at a lot of people, was a black dude. I would have hired him in a heartbeat. He was perfect. He was perfect. So I totally would have been like, you know what? You're the best Wren. Doesn't matter what you look like. You're the best Crimson Wren. So you're hired, right? So it's not just this guy. This is Wendy Lee. And I wonder what was going on with Wendy Lee. But apparently her character from Bleach got recast with someone who actually looked more the role because, you know, Wendy Lee's too white. So we had to have somebody that's brown, even though these are all, technically Japanese characters, I guess, but whatever. And all those white actors, they need to step down, right? They need to exclusively let Asian folks play the Japanese characters. Cause it's all the same, right?
Right. Yeah, I know. Right?
Asian means Japanese and they probably speak Mandarin too. But
because that makes sense.
Cause that makes total sense, right? But yeah, so there was some issues, some drama going on there. And she was getting attacked on Twitter. And, so I mean, it's just like, look, this is nonsense. I think we've kind of reached the point where I would like to think, and a lot of this comes from the cartoon stan culture, but I would like to think that people can be adults about it and be like, yes, there's a white guy playing Cleveland, but he's kind of grandfathered in. He's been playing Cleveland for like 20 years, just let him have that, whatever. Because you could tell Mike Henry did not want to step down from Cleveland. But he was forced out. And they get a sound. That's what's even more insulting. You originate a voice, and then they go get a sound alike. It's like you're basically doing an imitation of my voice that I originated. And it's like if you were doing the show current year, it might not be very PC to hire a white dude to play a black dude. But I'm saying in the case of somebody that's been playing that role for years.
Yeah, right.
I think it's stupid to make them quit.
Yeah, just over current year bullshit.
Yeah. So, and the person that was the replacement for Wendy Lee got ousted, I guess. And that was a whole drama. But again, it came down to skin tone. As I understand it, they hired a replacement for her because this other person was darker skinned. Because we're talking about fictitious cartoon characters.
Well, gingers better only be voiced by gingers. That's all I'm saying. Otherwise, it's not going to work. A ginger has to be voiced by a ginger or a real ginger, not someone who dyed their hair.
So, again, to all those minority voice actors out there, if you find yourself with far fewer roles, I'm sorry. A lot of you, or at least your peers, advocated for this.
Right.
Which, and I don't know what to tell you. It's like you wanted this, right? You wanted everybody to stay in their own lanes. So
it's actually doing the opposite of what you intended to do. It's actually limit. We said what this is going to do is make it more limiting for a lot of voice actors, and that's it. And I mean, we're talking across the board, and that's just what they did.
Yep, absolutely.
Good job.
Good job. So now you've actually made less jobs. You made fewer jobs for minority voice actors who supposedly have a hard time getting.
Now they'll be like, well, no, we just need to have more minority representation in animation.
I don't.
Even though, what's really popular is anime from Japan, but okay.
Anyway, yeah, and like I said, they all need to be Japanese. You need to have actual English-speaking Japanese people do the dubs, right? If you're going to go down this road, you got to commit to it and be like, you know what? We can't hire anybody but English-speaking Japanese folks to do dubbing now, because that's the politically correct thing to do.
Yes.
We're going to wrap it up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.